Hey everybody, it's Dan Latto speaking and welcome to my Fast Track Marketing System. The reason I put this video together was I get a lot of feedback from clients saying they need more clients, and it's usually the biggest problem that they have is finding more clients. So I wanted to cover that rather than having the same conversation over and over again, so you get the benefit of this. So what I want you to do is just watch the entire video, and then obviously the most important bit is to implement what you've learned. Okay, so how do we get more clients? Well, first of all, we need better and more consistent marketing. The problem is that you get busy, so you stop marketing, so then you're not busy anymore, so you stop marketing. And you have to keep running this cycle over and over and over again, and you end up with a wavy line. You're busy, you're not busy, you're busy, you're not busy, and your money is inconsistent, and your marketing's inconsistent too. So what we also need are more leads. Now, better and more consistent marketing will get you more leads, there's no question there. Which in turn will get you more customers, which in turn will get you some business growth, and then in turn, obviously this is what we all want, we want more money. Okay, so let's just break it down a little bit, and let's just take a look at getting more leads. So what we're going to do now is use what we call a 4-step marketing plan. It's really easy. First step is we've got to identify who's a target audience. Who is it? Who's your target audience? I'll give you an example. Let's say you sell Reiki, and that's your service that you provide, and you're at a business networking event. I've had it where people have come up to me and say, what do you do? And I say, I provide Reiki. Now I know what Reiki is, but many people don't, and so they're pushing it with the wrong benefit. Imagine being at a networking event and having someone come up to you and saying, oh, well, I've got a paintbrush. And you're like, what? Yeah, I've got a paintbrush. Well, what do you do with that? Well, I paint and decorate houses. Ah, so he's a painter and decorator. I get that. But the mistake that many people make when they go up to people at networking events, they come up and explain the tool that they use to solve their problem. I'll give you another example. Let's say you're a time management coach. If you go up and say, I'm a time management coach, people go, alright, that's interesting, fine. They know what it is, but they don't understand the benefit for you. So if you went up and said, well actually, what's your biggest problem? Many of my clients say they haven't got enough time, so what's your biggest problem? And they say, well actually, yeah, I've got not enough time as well. Oh, well that's what I do, I'm a time management coach. Do you see the difference there? Enormous difference. So now you've already established the need from the person opposite you before they even know what you do. So you've got a better way of being able to identify your potential targets. But you've got to work out who your audience is, and you've got to go to where your audience are. So there's a term called fish where the fish are. If the riverbank is empty, or the pond is empty, there's no fish there, and yet people are fishing and they're not getting any catches, and it's because there's no fish there. So you've got to go where your clients are going to be. But you only know where your clients are once you work out who they are. So the next bit is, how do you get to them? So where do your potential clients go? Do they go to networking events? Do they go to, if you're a relationship counsellor, do they go to the solicitor because the relationship's breaking down? How do you get to them? And once you've got to them, what do you give them? Is it a business card? Is it a free coaching session? Is it a brochure? Is it a CD? Is it a book? Some people I know are authors, and so they give books. Great business card. The most important question here is, what would you like them to do? And ideally we want them to click the button, which is we want them to sign up for some sort of response marketing, and by that we mean email newsletters and so on. And we see lots of people doing email newsletters, and unfortunately they do them wrong, and I'll explain why most people are doing their email newsletters wrong. Okay, so let's just talk about getting the opt-in, which is what we want them to do. So what we offer the person is what we'd call a lead magnet. Now a lead magnet is something that will get them to opt-in. It's got to be something worthwhile. And it's also got to be something that's going to position you as an expert in your field. And it's also got to be something that's going to sell the next step in the sales process. Now the next step in the sales process might not be a sale. It might be an appointment. It might be to watch a particular video. But examples of lead magnets are ebooks. The problem with an ebook is that everyone's doing an ebook. And the other problem is that many people give newsletters as one of their lead magnets. And a newsletter has not got, it's not worth anything, you know. The next item would be a workbook, possibly, something that they can work through, but it needs to be something that's going to give them a specific result. It's got to have value for the person to really want this item. The next item could be a video like this one, or the next item could be a 45-minute coaching session. Now I've called that a strategy session because I've got a problem with coaching sessions. If you give away a free coaching session, no one really understands what a coaching session is, and more importantly, they just think it's an hour wasted because they know that you're going to try and sell them something, right? But actually, a strategy session should be, okay, this is where you are, let's identify where you want to be, and then let's work out the steps that will get you there. And that's pretty useful, and they can attain value to that. Okay, so once we've got them opted in using your lead magnet, what do we do then? Well, the first bit really is to get an appointment. If this is in your sales process in your business, this is absolutely the next step, is to get an appointment. And when you get the appointment, then you're going to be going for the close effectively. Now, to get the appointment, what we want to be doing is we want to engage with the suspect with short and response-driven emails. Now, I'll explain what a short response-driven email is in a minute. But then the next step from that is we want them to call you, and ideally from the email. Now, the reason why we want them to give you a call is that if you hit the phones and start calling people, most people, their defences are straight up because they know that you're trying to call them over something. However, if you're engaging via email and you hit one of their target areas that they need solving, a problem that they need solving, they're going to give you a call because you're perceived as the expert. Do you remember one of those 3 items on the previous slide? Gives you the perception of being the expert, and then you become the go-to person. So let's just take a look at this process as a diagram, because that will help. So what we want to do is we want to get the opt-in. That can come from webinars, networking events, referrals, website, whatever that needs to be. Once we've got them opted in, we then want to email them. We want to educate your potential clients, and we want to make it response-driven. And response-driven would look something like this. So it's an email that says, thank you for subscribing. So I was just wondering what your biggest problem is right now. Now, when they start to respond, you can work out if what you have to offer is a match to what their problem is. Because it could be that you can solve their problem. It might not be, but you might be able to refer somebody else and get a kickback from that person as well. So this is what we mean by engaging. Once you start engaging, this lead starts to get warmed up. Now, people buy from people that they know, trust and like, and we know that. So the way to do it is to keep engaging with this person, to keep educating them as to how you can help them, and to keep getting responses from them. And this lead becomes warmer, and in turn, eventually, they'll purchase from you, or they'll move on to the next step. The next step, ideally, is they'll call to book an appointment with you, and it's at that appointment that then you can go for the close. So let's say that they don't book the appointment. What do? Well, we keep engaging with this person, and we keep warming them up, and we keep educating them to the point where they're going to book an appointment. And we keep doing that. So if they don't book the appointment, then we keep finding out what the biggest problem is, and we keep speaking to them, and we keep trying to engage with them, and we keep warming them up. And we just keep doing it over and over again till eventually they call to book the appointment, and then we go for the close. Pretty much that's what this sales process is going to look like. So let's just take a step back and let's go back to finding leads. So this is the easy bit. The easy bit is finding leads, because we know where these people are. As long as you've identified the right type of person, so the networking events, on webinars, through your social media, through referrals, through public speaking. In fact, there's millions of ways of doing it. But you know what? All this is completely worthless if this back office system isn't in place. And you've got to get that back office system, because in most businesses they do it the wrong way around. They go to all these networking events, they're out on social media, but they haven't got this mechanism in place so that when they get a lead, they don't engage with this person, they don't warm up these leads, they don't identify what this person actually needs. So how do you sell it to someone? So let's just summarise what we've covered here. So, step 1, get your system in place and handle that lead generation. Then you need to go off and find some leads. Have confidence in your ability to market consistently and stick the leads in your follow-up system. and nurture these leads and engage with them. So let's just give you a little bonus here. This is something that is so important, and I just want to cover it as well. We need to keep a track of how these people are performing, how you're performing with your potential leads. So what we've got here is we've got networking events and we've got week 1. So let's just run through it quickly for you. And I know it looks busy, but don't worry about that, I'll explain it. So, number of contacts met at an event. So you met 25 people. You asked them a qualifying question. So what's your biggest problem right now? Most people say it's time management. Or if you work as a Reiki master and you're looking for people with stress and anxiety, well, networking events is where you'll find those. Then the question that you can ask is something like, so what's your biggest problem? Many business owners say it's stress and anxiety. And they go, yes, it is stress and anxiety. Oh, well, that's what we do. We help remove stress and anxiety so that you can take on a bigger workload and still perform at your peak level. That's a lot better than going and saying, oh, well, I do Reiki. Okay, so that's number qualifying questions. You need to work out what the qualifying question is for your business. The next bit is, I've put in there website signups, but it might not be a website, it might be a business card transaction, so they give you a business card. And then from that, they go into your mechanism, and you start emailing regularly, start finding out what the biggest problem is and so on. And then you book one appointment. And because you're new at this, you've not closed any sales, and so your £250 product, or whatever that figure's going to be, is 0. Week 2, you meet 35 contacts at a networking event, you've asked 25 questions, you've got 15 sign-ups now, either through the website or through business cards. From that, you've booked 5 appointments, and you've gone and closed 2 sales, and you made 500 quid. Week 3, you've done 35 again, but you've got a little bit better at asking questions, so you're up to 29. You've got a few more website sign-ups, that's excellent, because you've got better at that, better at engaging with them. You've got more appointments, again, you've got better at engaging through the emails. And then at the appointment, because you've got better at the appointment, you've closed 3 sales, and your income's gone up. And now, because your confidence is up in week 4, all your numbers are up. Let's just take a look at direct mail. So let's say that you send out a postcard and you give someone a lead magnet, a particular reason why they're going to sign up, go back to your website and sign up for them to get a free video or a free ebook or workbook or whatever that's going to be. So let's say week 1 you send out 60, you get just 5 sign-ups on your website, you get 2 appointments, because don't forget you're starting to improve what you're doing here. You get 2 appointments and you close 1 sale. Week 2, because you're getting a response here, you up it, you get 100, 15 sign-ups, 5 appointments face-to-face, and you're closing 3 products. Let's say the next one you're using your accountant's list because they've got 2,500 people on their list. You get 32 sign-ups, 15 appointments, 7 sales. And you can see the income going up all the time. So the final bit I want you to do here is I just want to work out your profit and loss, because going to networking events, you could say it's only time that you're spending, and that's fine. But you've got petrol and car parking and so on for each of those. So we're looking at what our return on investment would be. You can also look at what your return on time invested. So if you're spending 3 hours each week at networking events, or let's say you need to do 2 each week to get those numbers, that's 6 hours. So that would be, work it all out, so that would be 2,500 divided by 6 hours. And then you've got the amount of time for doing the appointments. Could be a 45-minute session, could be a 10-minute session. We want to know what that number is. And on the direct mail, how much is it going to cost you for your stamps and your envelopes and your postcards to be printed? And how can we reduce those costs? So your homework, you never thought you'd get homework off a video, did you? Your homework is to go off and work out your profit and loss, because that way you can work out which is the most cost-efficient and time-efficient way to close in business. Okay then guys, that's it from me. Hopefully you found that really useful, and what I want you to do is, I want you to go off and implement that. Might take some time, but it's going to be worth doing. Using this system, you can go off and get another 7 clients in the next 30 days. No problem at all. Because now you've got your mechanism in place. So my name's Dan Latto. Best of luck, and we'll catch up with you soon. Thank you.